And we're back with our first unboxing in a while. What's up, guys? It's Jimmy Retro, and as you can see above, there's my Game and Watch from Super Mario Bros. That I got from Best Buy. And down below is a mystery package that arrived just today on November 15th, 2021. So, let's get to opening it. So, a little bit of a background on events of today. November 15th is officially the day the Xbox came to the market 20 years ago in 2001 with Halo as its launch title, and it released to massive acclaim. So I'm guessing even now people are celebrating the old saga, which I am including myself because I have an Xbox Series S and the first game I ever downloaded on that thing was Halo. Anyway, we got our stuffing removed, so and here we have the Game and Watch Zelda edition. And I suck at doing the N64 effect. Yep, just like Mario the year before, or 6 months ago actually, because I bought it in 2021. Zelda has its own share of limited editions. No, seriously. I mean, I have a freaking shelf full of Zelda stuff. My 3DS XL is Zelda themed. Most of my earliest Switch screen protectors and cases are Zelda themed. It was all the rage back then. So, what's the Legend of Zelda? Like you gotta ask. It was a series that was made in 1986 by Eiji Aonuma alongside Shigeru Miyamoto and another staffer. I forgot his name, sorry. The first game was released in Japan in 1986, but it won't be released in America till 1987. Mainly because the original game was actually a disc and not a cartridge. And seeing as how the disc drive flopped in Japan, they took a whole year to localize it and transfer the files into a cartridge, which was no easy task. It would soon be followed by numerous other titles like A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, which is my personal favorite, and Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. Let's see how it compares to the old school Super Mario Bros. I mean, you can see here immediately, like, the left side is left intact, but what about the right side? There is a couple new buttons in this. Unlike Super Mario, which was only A and B, Legend of Zelda has Start and Select, buttons that were not seen in any Game and Watch model before. Anyway, let's look at the back here. We got ourselves not 4, but 6 little activities for you to do. And 4 of them are games. 3 of them are Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2, which is a weird, awkward side-scroller, which gave Link Mario powers. And here, one of my favorite handheld Zelda games, Link's Awakening. After playing it on the Nintendo Switch, I honestly feel like this is the genuine better version. But we also have a clock right here. Something new though, playtime timer. We can time ourselves on how much we play. And we get a revamped version of Vermin for only Legend of Zelda style. It's like that one Game and Watch game for the for the Mario Edition Game and Watch. But unlike the Game and Watch Mario Edition, which had a lot of backup copies in the later days, this one sold out immediately. Oh wait, it's upside down. This is how it looks like above, with a color screen, which is not exactly true because Link's Awakening is still played in monochrome. Alright, enough ogling over the box. Let's see what's inside. Ooh! Da 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 da. And here's our user guide, which basically tells us what to do, what to charge, and yada yada. I mean, you're fine with just a Nintendo Switch cable, but look at this. This is something you don't see in the Mario Edition. No custom packaging, because if you look at the Mario Edition, hold on a sec, you don't get any of that junk. All you get is a blank white screen of paper. I guess Nintendo did something right for once. A shame that we didn't get 3D All-Stars Zelda Edition for the Switch. It would have been so cool to see. We would have been way better off than Ocarina of Time on the Switch Online. And if Nintendo ever makes it to virtual reality, I still want to see a Zelda game in there. It's a must-have. Anyway, this is the box that's there without this glow. And you can see Link is based on his Link's Awakening Switch form. And Vermin is basically the game where you whack-a-mole. And just like the Mario Edition, the Zelda Edition has the special thanks to you thing. And now that I have them both, that's another edition I might be adding to my collection. And look at this. Oh! This is something that the Mario Edition doesn't have. A kickstand. Basically, we can use it as a trophy. But honestly, I'm more of a gamer than a gamer collector. And look at this baby. It's so pristine and fresh. Look at the backside. It's a Triforce right here. And usual stuff. Alright. And the power button is right here. And here's the USB-C, which is the same type of cord that you could use on your Switch. And like the old Game and Watch from Mario, it has a mono speaker. Because let's face it, the Super Nintendo and the NES didn't have any stereo sound. Anyway, let's turn this baby on. Whoa. If you guys didn't hear that, that was the Legend of Zelda treasure found. But look at this. It looks cool. There's Link from his 1986 form. And there's Hyrule. Before the lore began. AKA the Downfall timeline. Dude. And you probably remember these, don't you? Too dangerous to go alone. Take this. Well, it's too dangerous to leave it at noon, so let's set the time. Alright, the time is set. It's now 7:09. So, here's our set menu, which we can use on the screen here. Screen brightness can do that. And there's actually a new ability, auto sleep. Not bad. Well, yeah, as you can see Link playing or fighting moblins or any of this junk. You can see the Triforce shards up there, the sword and the boomerang, I believe, and the heart containers. Well, and look at this. Legend of Zelda is available in English and Japanese. Same thing with Link's Adventure. Why the heck is the North American Zelda in Dutch have German or something? German or Dutch? I mean, Dutch is not even a common spoken language. But yeah, let's test these babies out. Dude, this works like a charm. Da, 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 da. Oh man, the Ganon lore. And just so you know, the original NES release had Ganon with 2 ends and not 1. Alright. And we get an elimination mode? That's something I haven't seen. And as everyone knows, the only valid name is Link. Why? Well, Aonuma once said that it's supposed to be mysterious, and also so that the player could connect with Link and maybe do his own voice once in a while. Ah, the classic Zelda theme. Alright. The infamous, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Da-da-da-da. And this is where the famous laser beams are. I forgot what these monsters were called. But yeah, this is a cool view of the Legend of Zelda. I mean, we already know how to play Super Mario Bros. In basically many forms. I mean, we were able to play it on a Game Boy Color, on Game Boy Advance, the DS, 3DS, Virtual Console, the Wii, the GameCube through Animal Crossing, and then Game and Watch. And now Zelda joins the fray with that. And I got bored. Yeah, I know. I'm not one to play the downfall timeline, mainly because I grew up playing the N64 era of games. I didn't like the Wind Waker for its toon graphics. It took me a while to get back into Zelda, not until Skyward Sword, but by then it was too late. And we have the infamous Zelda 2. Why do I say infamous? Well, let's find out, shall we? Hold up. If you guys don't know what I'd put, it's Link. But let's see why it's infamous. You get 3 lives. See how you can only go side-scrolling? I mean, the sword button is now the B. This is basically Super Mario, only Zelda-ized. One thing I'll give it credit for is the introduction of an overworld. But that is it. Everything else, though, it sucks. It's no it's also notoriously hard. As you can probably see, you can't beat enemies the regular way. You get stuck in an RPG-like trance. You have to fight your way out. And you also have to mind your surroundings too. So you only have 3 lives, as you can see up top. So it's one of the earliest action RPGs, if you guys consider this to be an ARPG. While it is a bit revolutionary, it failed to catch on for the time, simply because Japan just doesn't like action. They like turn-based stuff. Anyway, as you can probably see, we can level up. And I totally forgot what I needed to... Oh. Right, the points thingy. Yeah, by default, yeah, their choices of upgrades are really confusing. Basically, you have a point system, and the amount of points you got is the right here can contribute to what you can get. That was a fluke. And if you're thinking that the side-scrolling would stop at a town, you're wrong. At least they have some hot-looking studs. But yeah, unless you really want a challenge, I don't recommend playing this. I mean, Ocarina of Time basically skews the game to your favor if you get every single thing. But this game, the last of a bunch, is a game that I recommend all of you play. Now I know it's out on the Nintendo Switch, but I recommend you guys play the original Game Boy or Game Boy Color. Either way, it's basically the same thing. The only difference is the color specified dungeon. That gives you some useless item. This is The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. It actually begins after the events of the Oracle games. After you defeated Ganon, you leave either Labrina or Holodrum on your way home. But that homecoming was a rude one. Yes, I know it looks like it's blue, but this is actually monochrome. See? Yep, there are no clouds surrounding the egg. The fourth and, until recently, overshadowed game of the series. Well, you can put in any game, any name you want. I'll give you Easter eggs, like, for example, if you put Zelda, you get a pop version of the Zelda theme. If you put something else, I think you get something else. I totally forgot. If you jack something from the shop, though, you get labeled thief for the rest of the game. And here's a little challenge I want to propose to all you guys who have this. Play Link's Awakening the whole way without dying. And if you die, you have to erase your game. Why? Well, considering that you probably were spoiled, you probably know why. But this is my absolute favorite of the three in this little mini console. What a relief. I thought you'd never wake up. You were tossing and turning. Nani? Zelda? Marin. Woozy. And we're on Kahoot Island. Hold on a sec. How's that? Sound better? Well, this is my favorite game of the 3 games offered here. Simply because I played the DX version on the GBC, or Game Boy Color. And this is the infamous message that I hate from this game. Wow, this looks pretty heavy. You won't be able to lift it with just your bare hands. It's an annoying message. I can't get rid of it no matter what I try. Well, Link, you finally snapped out of it. Name's Darren. I hope you're feeling better. What? How'd I know your name? It's weird, huh? Well, I saw it on the back of this shield. And we get our shield back. And we can use it to flip enemies. And in my personal opinion, this little theme song here is golden. It's a shame that it's only played once. And this is where the game starts to see notorious references, starting with the Chain Chomp from Super Mario. And you think that wasn't enough? There's also some references to modern tech. Like here. Brr, brr. Hello, it's me, O'Reilly. Ask me anything about the island. If you get lost, give me a call. Bye. This will prove useful if you're stuck. I love playing this game. It's pretty nostalgic and it has some variations. Makeup, jewels, dresses. Yeah, there's a lot of chain chomps here. Anyway, you can't access this yet. And here's how you save. Hey man, when you want to save, just push all the buttons at once. Don't ask me what that means, I'm just a kid. So if you do this, after you save, you'll start at the last door you went through. I'm not really sure why that is, because I'm just a kid! So yeah, select is basically the map. Start is your inventory. But if you press all 4 of them at the same time, this is the saving screen. If you save and quit, you get back to the title screen. Or the intro, I should say. But we'll save the profiles for another time. I mean, seriously, why couldn't freaking the Switch have an option to choose the original Game Boy soundtrack? Because this is just a class of its own. And this is primarily one of the reasons why I kind of didn't want to buy Link's Awakening on the Switch. No choice to switch between soundtracks. Tail Cave, Tromba Shores. Tail Cave is a dungeon that you'll explore later. For now, we need to get our sword back. Beware those. Oh! Now you can do this. And we get the annoying owl before his appearance in Ocarina of Time. Now I understand why the monsters are starting to act so violently. Courageous lad has come to wake the windfish. It said you cannot leave the island unless you wake the windfish. You should now go north to the mysterious forest. I'll wait for you there. Hoot. And there we go. We get our sword because our name is on it. And that introductory riff is only played once in this game. Ouch. That's cool. This is a cool game to play. And this is my absolute favorite of the Game Boy of the handheld lines. Simply because, well, the Minish Cap is too unknown, the Oracle games were too expensive because you had to buy the other one to get the true ending. This is just plain old hack and slash Zelda. Anyway, the game changes. So yeah, that was a little taste of Link's Awakening, which you can find here. Anyway, you can also do screen size. And apparently we can change to a full 16 by 9 from an original 4 by 3, which is cool. But we still haven't covered the entire game. Vermin. So basically Vermin is like whack-a-mole. So yeah, you use the directional buttons or the A and B buttons to even start. Basically the game is just whack-a-mole, only under a different name. And just like the ball game from Super Mario Brothers, it'll get faster and faster and faster. And if you let one of those games, and if you let one of those vermins go by, and if you let the vermin go by, then you're basically game over. See? Just like that. And that concludes... Hey, look at this. And that concludes the unboxing and small playthrough / sneak peek of The Legend of Zelda Game and Watch Edition. It's a pretty cool way to celebrate the 35th anniversary, though. I kind of fear it was a bit too late and a bit underwhelming, because you know how Mario got all that support? Like, you know, like, you see his friends being celebrated. He gets a freaking Nintendo Switch variant modeled after his anniversary year. This, on the other hand, feels a bit underwhelming. Could have had a cool Zelda OLED model with a free download of Breath of the Wild or something. But better this than nothing. And I just now noticed that the serial code is ZL35, a reference to the 35th anniversary, which actually Americans won't celebrate till next year because, you know, released on 1987 and 1986. So this is a neat little way to get some of the original games on the go. I mean, of course, it only has 1, 2, and 4 because A Link to the Past apparently can't run on Game and Watch hardware, which is kind of sad. But I wonder if I can do things to this that can enable me to play Final Fantasy, the Switch games. I mean, it's possible. I've seen a freaking Super Mario 3 run on the Game & Watch Super Mario Edition. But we'll have to wait and see for that. So, this is going to add to my collection of numerous Zelda items, including my Zelda mask, my Zelda strategy guides for both Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess, a Zelda map of Hyrule based on the Twilight Princess incarnation, a freaking encyclopedia I got at a Barnes & Noble, 3 amiibos of Breath of the Wild, 1 amiibo of Twilight Princess, a strategy guide for Majora's Mask. I mean, I got a lot of them. And I mean a whole lot of them. And you'll probably see later in the ending screenshot.